What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sammy's Place. I am Sam A. Today we're going to get into the album I Care For You from Aaliyah. It's 20th anniversary already. I remember when this album came out. It was a pretty deep moment, man. We first heard Miss You on AOL First Listen. I don't know if you remember that. That's fucking shit. AOL First Listen. That was the place to go to for new songs. This is where they were premiered at the time, I think. Anyways, I'm pretty sure AOL had some pretty fucking dope exclusives. So I just looked up the album and read up on it a bit, and I discovered quite a bit. I had no idea that a lot of these songs came from the last album, obviously, but just how they came about. Like Miss You was actually intended for Genuine's album, 100% Genuine, 1999. So my point of even bringing up these dates is because when you listen to the sound of these and where R&B was in 2002, it's fucking crazy how, and where R&B was back in like 1999, it is really fucking nuts how futuristic these people were in the sense of where they brought music. They had songs that were like fucking 4 years old and put out later on and yet changed R&B. Like Come Over was produced, I think it was by Brian Cox, or was it Jazzy Faye? I know Jazzy Faye. Anyways, these are names that later on became really big after the fact, after this album came out. Like Brian Cox, B. Cox was, he became obviously a really fucking big producer. Same with Jazzy Faye. And it's like Aaliyah worked with these people and kind of had the sound way before these sounds were the sound of the time. You know what I mean? So it was so interesting to me to see these dates and to hear the where it was. And so a lot of the times, like I think they said was it Come Over? She wanted it for the Aaliyah album. And when you listen to Come Over and you listen to the Aaliyah album, it kind of doesn't fit. It sounds like, the Aaliyah album had a whole sound of its own on its own, but yet Come Over was like the future. And it wasn't ready to be heard yet until maybe a year or two later. It's fucked. It's just crazy to me of where R&B went to with Aaliyah. And yeah, and obviously I Care For You was recorded back in, I think it was originally 1996. It was for 1 in a Million, but then I think it was that it was too late. It didn't make, she recorded it too late, so it didn't make the final cut or some shit like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And then it was used obviously for the last album. And I think same with Don't Know What to Tell You. Like the song Come Over was actually given to a duo called Changing Faces, and that was back in fucking 2000. Anyways, it was her original version that ended up being a single for the I Care For You album. And I remember hearing Come Over here on the radio, and like I've said many times, if your song is being played on the fucking radio here, like it's doing something. I Miss You, how that was actually intended for Genuine. So she was working with the same producer as he was, and he was showing her some tracks and heard that one. She calls him up, asks if she can cut it. He said, go ahead. And then it wasn't used because the label felt that it wasn't a smash. So it was left unused. Isn't that fucked? And then later on, it would actually be like Aaliyah's, it would be a hit. Obviously. It's so weird how like life just plays out, especially that song, man. How that came out afterwards, after obviously that her death, and life's fucked. That's all I gotta say is life is really an interesting fucking thing, man. Sometimes it's so beautifully written, like it's kind of like fucks with you. You're just like, wow, that's fucking weird. So I'm not too sure if these names, like even Brian Cox and Jazzy Faye and stuff, were even like well-known producers way before they were actually like big names. I only discovered them around like, I think it was like 2004, 2005. But I knew that they were around for a bit, but like I know B. Cox produced Little Most Forever. Yeah, they've been around since the 90s, like late 90s. Like B. Cox was working with Genuine and Tyrese and stuff. Jazzy Faye worked with a few. Nothing like major. Nothing in comparison to the status they had in the industry. Like at one point in 2004, 2005 and onward, like they were just fucking working with everybody, bro. Like everybody wanted their sound. They had such a signature sound. So anyways, I just thought it was interesting after reading that. what these songs, where they were when they started and what they were used for way later on. It's crazy what things, like everything has its fucking purpose. It's meant for something, man.